Hello, I'm Rebecca of the Garden Gate Flower Company.
And I'm Grace of Grace Alexander Flowers.
And we've come together to create Stuart and Alexander Gather at the Garden Gate.
A podcast taking you behind the scenes of two gardens, what we've been up to, inside, outside, and out and about.
Hi Grace, welcome back.
Welcome back to Stuart and Alexander.
And welcome to everybody else who's had a couple of weeks of not having to listen to us rabbiting on. Or maybe they've missed us.
I'm not going to go so far as to say that anyone's missed us, but in the intervening quiet weeks, I have had quite a few messages and just like really incidental random conversations with people, and they've suddenly said, oh yeah, I've listened to the podcast.
Oh,
funny.
I know.
I was at work the other day and somebody said, oh, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, oh, I'm doing a podcast with my friend Becca. And she said, oh, I know about the podcast because my sister listens on the way to work. And I was just like, oh, that's just
hello to her.
Shout out to Emma, if you're listening, Emma.
Hello to Emma as well.
Miss you, Emma.
Yeah.
Miss you.
Well, I just think, I know, it's been a blur of work and it's been very busy. And of course, I know we have this lovely, and it's probably worth reminding people, this lovely sort of in, out and about as our formula for our podcasts. But in the relaxed element that is not working on the Stuart Alexander podcast, I'm struggling to remember what I've done out.
You've not been anywhere, have you?
I suddenly had this moment before I joined the podcast thinking, oh my goodness, I've done it again. I can't remember what I've done. I even tried to looking in my diary thinking, I'm sure I've done something.
But this is why we have the podcast, so that you are forced to go out. And now we haven't had the podcast for a few weeks. You've not been anywhere, have you?
I know, but what I will say is Mum, lovely Mum, is turning 70 next week, and I'm going to make up for it by the bucket loads because I'm going out for quite a few meals, because one can't celebrate once. You have to, by all accounts on her idea, is celebrate 70 times. I will be banking these.
Lovely.
I will be banking my outs definitely through season 2. So bear with me is all I can say to people. Please.
Brilliant.
Please bear with me.
Did we agree that we could carry them over? Did we agree
Well,
that?
do you know what? We either carry them over or the podcast is all going to be based on Becca, is all I'm going to say. You know? So you choose the rules, but that's my disclaimer.
But yeah.
And there's some really good
the
outs.
timing can be fluid.
Yeah. I can't even tell you all the outs just in case she listens to them, because some of them are surprises, so I can't even say.
Oh no, don't ruin the surprise for any of us. No, we're all going to be hanging on to find out all, and then I'll make note so that when I come down for my holiday, I can go to dinner all lovely places.
I
will have a notebook at the ready.
So are we going to start with what? I mean, I feel slightly giddy and excited. Like I haven't seen you for ages and I just want to jump in there and give you a hug. But obviously that's just weird. But there's so much. I feel like this episode could be quite big if one isn't reined in a little bit. So you're going to have to rein me in because you are technically in charge.
Well, I am technically in charge.
Always.
I'm in charge of the editing. So the final version of what goes, it's decided by me.
There's a whole section's deleted of Becca, basically.
No, every word you utter is of value to me and to the listeners. And, I do try and preserve. I've got ins that I really want to talk to you about and I really want to share.
Oh, so can you start with the ins? Because actually I'm not very good with in either. I think I failed on multiple levels. I will get back into it, I promise. Come on, inspire me. What have you been doing?
I reckon you can talk about my ins if you like, because I think you'll quite love it. Where I'm sitting at the moment to record this podcast is in the upstairs big room of cottage number 3. And it is the only room in the house currently that has both a floor and a ceiling. I always have to get that there around. So we are in the full thick of renovation. So there are massive oak beams piled up outside. We are having a joint effort, myself and my husband going to Upton tomorrow to pick up a job lot of elm floorboards. There is dust everywhere. There is grit in everything. I have to wash every cup before I make a cup of tea, but I don't care because
can you see the progress?
Yeah, exciting.
I think when you actually can see the progress, it's all right.
Progress is,
it's the no progress I have an issue with. Yeah.
Well, we have got planning permission to remove one single wall between the two cottages, which will mean that the two back bedrooms are going to be one massive east facing, have I got that right? Sunrise facing 7-metre bedroom, and 3 foot of the wall at the bottom has gone. So if I'm lying on the floor, I can look into the next room.
Wow. It's going to be exciting then.
Incredibly exciting. We had to do it that way around for structure. Oh my God. It's just like you say, progress is amazing. It's coming up to the year exactly of the property sale going through, which, as you know, and I've bored literally everybody I've ever spoken to in my entire life. It took us 10 years to buy it, and then the sale went through whilst we were in Cornwall last year, so that first week of July, whilst we were in a tent in Foy. The person we bought the house from was packing up the house, and my neighbour on the other side was like WhatsApping me pictures of it happening, because she was like, oh my God, it's all happening, and by the way, he's standing on your lawn. It's like, don't care.
It's gone
Yeah,
by.
so I think with old properties, you'll know this, you have to sit with them for a little while, you have to let them settle, you can't rush into big renovations. So I'm really pleased with how long it's taken us to really get going.
I will just add to that, though, there is no excuse after 17 years that you still don't have a floor in your ensuite. Just putting that out there, just in case my husband's listening.
You don't have a floor, or you don't have flooring?
Don't have flooring. In fairness, it hasn't been 17 years. But you know, there are things that... It's the annoying thing I find with houses they're the simplest things that seem to never get done, which you could do in an afternoon, probably with your own DIY. Like, for example, only recently, I don't know why my attention was drawn to the lampshades in the hallway of our little cottage. And I just thought, at what stage did the 17-year-old lampshades, I'd not think that now is a good time to change them. And I think I temporarily put these things up whilst I thought about what I wanted. Apart from the fact there was literally about 3 inches worth of dust over them, let's just say I'm not particularly house proud in that sense. But I was just like, it's things like that it frustrates me, because you start not seeing it. I don't know whether anyone has that. That was why it was so important when we did our kitchen, that we actually did the lighting and we did everything. And this is why I said to Andy, we've got to put the curtains up, we've got to do the light switches, and we've got to do the lighting right. Because if you don't do those things right at the end of a renovation of a room, they seem to never get done, in my world anyway.
I'm what's known as a starter, not a finisher.
Yeah.
I have great big ideas and go absolutely gung-ho. Yeah. And when it gets to the detail, I think sometimes you possibly can't relate to this, because I know this is so much more your area than mine, but I think sometimes lighting particularly, it feels so important to get right. And I think lighting is really hard.
Oh, it is.
And so I go into decision paralysis a little bit and think, I'll think about that. Or when I see the thing that I like, I'll know, and then I put it off. And we've got at least 3 big lights in number 2 cottage where, exactly like you, we had guests coming. The spare bedroom had a hanging light bulb out of the ceiling. I went to B&Q, bought the first thing that I sort of liked. Yeah. It's hideous. Yeah. It's still there.
I know, though, it's the lighting. And I agree, lighting actually, even though coming from a background of interiors, lighting I think is really, really hard. And actually now so many properties almost look like they've been designed almost around the lighting, because they're so clever. They're it's so beautiful, these big arch lamps, all that sort of thing. But where we live, you can't see any of this stuff. So I'm very much somebody who loves to go to places and actually see them being used. And that's half my battle of actually making a decision, because looking in a catalogue or online, either it doesn't do them justice, or when they arrive you just go, it didn't look like that. Do you know what I mean? And that's a little bit frustrating. Although I have to say, we do have an independent lighting shop in Weybridge, one and I actually have been, and it is really good. So using your independent shops, if you've got them, is bigging up the high street. But there just aren't, again, I don't think they necessarily have had the ones I've necessarily wanted.
We were chatting about this when we went up for Chelsea, didn't we? Because we went past, was it a Loaf or a sofa.com?
Yes,
I can't remember.
sofa.com.
We went past a warehouse.
Oh, no, it was Loaf.
A
it was
warehouse,
Loaf.
and we were talking about it, was it Loaf? Because, the things like sofas and beds and mattresses and stuff, you really do have to touch them, feel them, sit on them.
Nightmare.
You've got to know, because it's such a big investment for any of us. I'm quite lucky because I'm between Bristol and Exeter. There's always a way. And actually, Nakuku is not that far away.
Yeah.
And I would drive to Bailey's home when the time finally comes for us to get the sofa of our dreams. Yeah. We've always been quite clear what our forever home was, but we've never been very clear what our forever sofa.
Yeah, I know. Well, but like you said, Matt, top tip. A friend said to me, because I was talking about this, which actually will lead on. which I'm going to lead on to my out, which is quite exciting actually, because I actually have only just remembered it. But a friend recommended, if you do live in the back of beyond like I do, ask your other friends what their mattresses are and things like that. And I don't know whether that's something that I've just a bit slow to actually on the uptake, but when she said to me, oh, we've bought a mattress, we actually just went round to our friend's house because they had a new mattress. They'd done all the research, and I just went and laid on it and decided that was fine. I was like, actually, that's genius. You're laughing. I mean,
round for coffee,
go and
and
lie on
you
your
suddenly
mattress.
said, could I just go and lie on your bed? I just don't know what I'd say.
Isn't it a good idea?
I think I'd want... It's a great idea. I'd want some warning.
Okay.
I'd really want you
Okay.
to, you know, actually, it's a beautiful sunny day here and all my sheets are on the washing line, so I will have clean sheets, but it's quite an intimate thing to go and lie on somebody else's bed.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe we're all a bit weird and cool. I don't know. Yeah,
bit.
I know. No, but I just thought, actually, if your friend has recently bought a mattress and you were needing one, and they'd done all the... I mean, she sold it much better than I'm
And
selling
they
it
look
to
all
you.
well rested.
Yeah.
and
This is a new...
They suddenly turn up looking 5 years younger.
I mean, affiliate link. I'll just start shouting about my mattress around Lostwithiel, and everyone can come and just try it for £5 a go to lie on it. And that's maybe my affiliate link. I've started a new business. There it is. I think I've had too much sun.
I think you might have done well. Natural Mat. I'm sure Natural Mat's somewhere near you. And Ellie Pear did a thing with them.
Oh, okay.
And I think they do. You know the Bull in Totnes?
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Not been.
I think they do all the mattresses there, and I think they're made somewhere. Oh, you must.
Yeah, I should
It's
go.
lovely. I think they do. So get in touch with Natural Mat. Say I want to be your Lostwithiel
Rep.
supplier, and people can come around my house and lie on my bed.
I think there are many...
yeah.
The fact that they've got to go past my landing with 2 lamps that have 3 inches of dust on them, I think I've already found a reason why this might not work. You know? But literally, before I get into any more... Before I get into any more trouble, I have to tell you about my out. Because you will love this, actually. This will be right up your street, and I think needs to go on your list. I think you should go there on the way down, on the way to me, or the way home. Vintage Hub. It is... Oh, it is... Do you know what? It was so good. So it is not far around the corner from IKEA. So it's in that sort of extra IKEA, out-of-centre sort of thing. Have you been?
Are we on your out-out?
Yes.
We're on an
We
out-out.
are on an out-out. I know,
This is your out-out. Sorry,
Yeah.
you announced that as an out.
Oh,
and I'm now
sorry.
confused. Okay, we're on an out-out.
We're on an out-out.
Okay.
Sorry.
No,
I digress. It was the wrong title. But it is an out-out. I went very recently, probably a week or so ago, to this extra Vintage Hub, which is really, really good. Really good. Very reasonably priced. Stock changes regularly. And I bought... I don't know whether you saw it on Instagram. Did you see...
Are we talking furniture,
Yeah,
knickknacks?
we're talking
what we
interiors. It pretty much has everything. It's really clever. So it's a massive, great, big, almost like an industrial hangar-y type, big building. And it's got a cafe with great cakes, because we arrived... it's a winner from my point of view. So we arrived and we had tea and cake. And you go in, and essentially it's a sort of a cooperative of people selling their stuff. So a guy and this chap and his wife, I think, run it. And it is in almost like little bays around that you walk around. So there's, it's not like all your chairs are in one place. You almost have to go to each bay and look at each independent sort of bay.
It's like their little market
It's just like that. It's like a little market. And it's quite interesting because I will say one or two of them, I was like, oh, these are slightly higher priced than everybody else's. So there's obviously some people that are selling them slightly higher than others. And there are fixed prices, but there's also labels that don't say hit fixed price, which you can maybe go and have a little haggle with, which I quite like. And chest of drawers. So my friend was going because she's just moved house and she needed chest of drawers. And we actually got everything on my list and her list in her van. And I was really, really impressed.
Wow.
I'd been really wanting a really nice little French bistro table. And I'd been doing that whole thing of looking, and I was there at Chelsea, wasn't I, looking at some bits and pieces. And I've not really wanted the chairs, but I've wanted a table. That's what I really wanted. So I wanted a table I could leave out to be able to put a vase of flowers on it from a photography point of view. So I wanted it to double up as like a photo opportunity. But also, I like creating height in the garden. And I think in small gardens, if you can have things on tables, like planters on tables, you instantly raise the eye level. And I really like that, you know. So I have multiple sort of table areas, but I don't have one in the middle or coming into the middle of the garden. I think it's easy to place tables like on boundary edges, but having round ones in the middle is quite nice. I found one of those, beautiful. And also this enormous terracotta pot, which I did think at one point my friend wasn't going to let me buy because she needed more space in the van. But I literally think I would have like sat on it, like squashed myself in it. Maybe I would have actually put it in the seat and sat in it if needs be. But I have this lovely Hebe, which has outgrown its pot. And I can't plant it. I've got nowhere to really plant it in the ground. So it was either gifting that away or giving it to Mum up at the studio garden, but I just thought I want to keep it with me, so I've gone to a much bigger pot, which it should be fine in. So it's definitely, we'll put it in the show notes, but yeah, Exeter Vintage Hub is, yeah, there were lots of really nice, oh my goodness, they had galvanised sheeting for sale. So they have an outdoor area, I know, yeah, so they have an outdoor area as well as indoor stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and she bought a really lovely galvanised trough, like water trough, which was really, you know, those like tall square ones. Yeah, I'm a bit annoyed I didn't get myself one actually, and a good price.
Yeah, well, the fuel tank.
Yeah,
ones,
it is.
Or
Yeah,
the cattle trough.
Well,
ones.
actually, I think you're right.
Because I've got a couple of the fuel tank ones.
I think it might be a fuel tank one over. Yeah, because it's got like a lip almost, so I don't think it would have been a feed one. So they're square and they've got a big sort of hole in the front, like where the pipe would have gone, like you said. Yeah, and it looks amazing. So we've planted that out for her with a gorgeous Acer. So because it's slightly under, she's got this really pretty veranda, so she's done it slightly under the veranda. So the Acer, it looks amazing, it looks lovely. So go.
Oh, gorgeous! That is very exciting. So. If you've been following on Instagram for many years, you've probably heard me raving about my chipper. So we've got an amazing wood chipper, which I use to making lots of compost with. It's been so useful. And it is in a waterproof box, which has been made to fit it. But every year, somehow water gets in and it shorts it all. It needs taking apart and fixing again. And it would be really good to have a slightly better solution. So I keep threatening to buy a garden shed, which my husband is refusing to allow. But a little galvanised shelter would be perfect, just to keep the weather off.
These sheets were £15 a sheet, and I'm really frustrated because I basically wanted to bring them all home. I'll send you the picture. I think I've even got the picture. I'll WhatsApp it to you later. Yeah. You would have loved it.
We won't go on the way or the way back from holiday because we will have a tent, 3 dogs,
and it could be a bit bad.
Everything but the kitchen sink in the truck. But it's only Exeter's only 40 minutes away, 45 minutes away from me, so I will happily have a little trek on down.
Big shout out to them.
Once we've got our floorboards and some chestnut gates and all the other things that we've got to go and collect over the next 3 weeks, touring around with the truck, just collecting large bits of wood in various configurations.
And so what's having me gone, I've not been out at all. I think that actually is, can we mark that up as quite like an 8 out of 10 in terms of on brand?
Yeah.
I think I forgot. Yes. I had amnesia. I just forgot for a minute.
Absolutely.
What's your out?
My out? What have I done recently? The most recent out is I've just come back from a wedding.
Oh, yes, I saw.
Which was a rather wonderful affair. It was. If you're in the Gather Instagram, I did post a big picture of my hat.
That's brilliant.
I didn't post a big picture of my hat. I posted a picture of my big hat, is what I meant to say there. My top tip for all weddings and all major events is the bigger the hat, the funner it'll be.
What, for you, but nobody else sitting behind.
No, and kissing anyone is a bit of a drama, and the whole thing is,
a laugh.
Blows around a bit. But so it was a fantastic wedding. It was 6 hours drive away, just past Sunderland in South Shields, which is an unfeasibly long way away. But it was a wonderful day. So it's a friend of my husband's, and they all know each other because they all go snowboarding once a year to the same place. And a lot of the après-ski for them, is there a different word for après-snowboarding? I'm not sure. Is all about live music. And so almost every guest at this huge wedding was in a band. So the whole night was live music and just everyone getting up on the stage and playing. And Kevin Charlotte, who played our wedding, they were there. It was absolutely lovely to have catch up with them. And so It was just a completely different
Out.
12 hours of my life, just driving a very long way, going out, big hat, huge amounts of gin, and staying in a hotel.
That's very nice. That's very nice. Was the food good?
Well, it was nice. The food was good, yes. Yeah. Can't remember much about the food.
By that stage.
I don't drink that much anymore. So it did, yeah. I think I acquitted myself quite well, actually. I was quite sober by the end of the night, despite all the efforts. But yeah, the thing about staying in a hotel now is because it's just disgusting, going back to the whole sharing people's mattresses. And, you know, I co-sleep with the spaniel. And so I swear if I sleep anywhere else and the sheets are really clean, you know, hotel sheets are always that slightly crisp, clean,
squeaky,
have a very specific feel to them.
Yeah.
I don't
So
sleep
it's
very well.
like you the side of dog in the bed, please. Thank you very much. I love that. Honestly, I do not want to go to the same hotel rooms as you. No, thank you very much. I want the squeaky clean sheets.
No.
I don't allow my dog upstairs. My dog does not co-sleep with us. Mainly because she's half collie and she just gets overly hot. So she just pants when you give her too much affection.
No.
I know.
Well, the girls don't sleep upstairs because they are too big, but the spaniel
yeah.
just, although he's desperate need of a summer clip, because you're right, everyone's a bit hot at the moment now, the weather's finally turned.
Well, yeah,
she says
I was going to say today is warmer, definitely. So I would say can we just, and you're going to love this because it's right up your street, can we have a moment for the sweet peas, finally? Because I'm not.
Yes.
I don't think there's any point in talking about slugs. Because it made it to the BBC News this morning, by the way. When we're recording this on Tuesday. It made it. The slug drama has made it to BBC News. I'm just going to leave that there. Because quite frankly, I don't think there's anything else to say about it if it makes it to the BBC News. So I'm going to push that aside and go, the sweet peas look amazing.
The only thing I'm going to say is we are all in it together and everybody is suffering. It isn't just you. If you're listening to this and you're feeling really dejected, it's not you. It's, how things are.
All I tell you we can hope for as well is a really, really, really hard frost this year. Because that's what we didn't have. That's what we need. I'm just saying. Not yet, though. So sweet peas. So I've just started picking mine. Like I would say, so a lot of mine... I don't know, I do feel, look, we're in June, we're mid-June, and I do feel like we're a bit behind. My sweet peas I'm picking now, were autumn sown, and they have reached the top of the hazel wigwams that I've created for them. So they're covering the hazel wigwams, but I would say probably in the last, I would only say probably 4 or 5 days, they've really got in their stride of I am picking a bunch a day. And the stems are lovely and long. Obviously, the ones that I haven't tied in particularly well have gone quite wiggly, but I actually quite like wiggly, so that's fine. But the spring sown ones are really, really, really far behind. Like, they are still only like a foot tall. I don't know how everyone else's are, but mine are really, really slow.
Are they flowering?
No. Oh, what? My spring ones?
So mine are flowering on really short stems, which I'm not mad keen on. Because I want the plant to be growing height rather than flowers though, so I'm probably going to go and just debud them all.
I'd disbud them all, yeah, definitely.
Just heartbreaking.
No, I would.
How long I've...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But I think my one slight concern for anyone that's relied on purely spring sweet peas is I don't think this is going to be the year for them. I don't...
What, because it's going to be too hot from now on, do you think?
I worry about time. I worry about time versus heat. So sweet peas don't like loads and loads of heat. I mean, I have had sweet peas in August. You know, maybe it's going to be fine. I don't know. But I just think one of two things will happen. Either I'll get bored of waiting and we'll all move on, or they will start putting on some extra growth. But I'm just a little bit... So interestingly, before all this happened, before my sort of analysis of this, I was going to sack off growing them as autumn because, you know, anything that you've got to get through winter in a greenhouse, it's hard work. It's really, really hard work. And I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to do it early in spring. I'm going to do January sowing instead and forget the autumn one. But actually, I'm now thinking I can't really afford to do that. I think I'm actually going to carry on with another autumn. I'm probably going to do less, but I'm going to do an autumn crop that will go into the tunnel. And then I'm going to do a January lot. And I'm going to do a crop that's going to go in the tunnel. And I'm going to do a crop that will go outside. And then I'm going to also do a January sowing as well. That's going to be my plan. You've gone quiet.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. So, I mean, hilariously, you know, when I went into organic conversion and I had a long chat with Angela, who is my organic inspector, and we were talking about what I was going to be producing, because you have to declare in advance everything. And I said, well, I'm just going to focus on sweet peas, really. And I'm going to be a sweet pea seed farmer. And oh my God, do I feel a mug now?
Well, you will.
I can't grow sweet peas for love nor money.
You will.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I know. I'm just feeling...
Well, I think this year, for anybody out there growing, you know, this is 15 years. I can never remember the year. 15 years worth of growing, let's say. And this has got to be, I think, the worst. The cold, the wet.
Have you seen... Do you follow Bloom and Gray?
Not sure.
Up in Yorkshire. So she does some really great stuff on regenerative farming stuff. And she does some really interesting things on breeding worms and soil microscope stuff. And I just happened to, I don't watch her very frequently, but YouTube just suggested her. And it was basically between the rabbits, the slugs and something else.
Oh, bless her.
All of her flowers had gone, like everything. And it was just so heartbreaking to watch. And I was like, oh, I mean, at least
you will.
I'll get some seed this year. Of course I will. You know, we've come this far. As long as I've got flowers, I've got seed, and it might not be a huge amount, and Christmas might be a little quieter than usual. But, you know, I really felt for it. And there are so many people out there, just so sad.
Yeah, and obviously got this new bit of land, which is always really exciting, but also does introduce you to a whole heap of other sort of dramas that you have to overcome. And one of them, and it'd be really interesting to see whether anyone else suffers from these, chafer beetles. Yeah. Now, chafer beetle, if you Google it, they are really attracted to roses. Oh my goodness gracious me, my heart sinks. Yeah. But interestingly, last year I didn't have any roses on this site, and there were still loads of chafer beetles. And what they do is they lay their eggs and they grow in the. I think their whole gestation is almost in the grass, just under the soil. So, and my kind of thought was there isn't a lot you can do when you're growing in a field, and you know, controlling a few slugs is great. An entire swarm of chafer beetles is something else, isn't it? But there is this nematode style. It looks like a bird feeder, actually, and I'm going to buy one, and it is like a bird feeder, and the male chafer beetle gets attracted to the smell of this sort of thing that you put inside, this like diffuser. I'm calling it a diffuser. And they go in and they get trapped in there. So the idea being that then they can't, you know, it reduces. So I'm hoping that I can do that. They're not causing horrific damage to the roses, but what they're doing is they're going into things. They seem to like my Emily Bronte and the Champagne Moment because they're frilly, and they're going in there under the petals, and the little, you know, I can't use the word because I know you'll beat me out, are mating in there. And then I think they are like eating. Oh, I'm trying not to think about it too much because I grow a lot of them. And I think what I've done is dead-headed. One will have to note that you need to pick before they become too open, and they like to go in at that stage. But I suddenly am thinking their season is like May, June, but they're still around now. I'm hoping they're going to be gone before the dahlias, because I'm a little bit worried that they might like the dahlias just as much as they like the roses. So I'm thinking I'm going to buy these. I'm going to buy this machine and see how I get on. But it is soul destroying.
I think that's how you get rid of codling moth on apple trees. Is something similar. It's a pheromone trap.
Yeah, this is basically what it is. It's a pheromone trap. You're exactly right. I knew you'd know it. And there isn't really much you can do. It's a piece of land with lots of nice grass, and they were there before I was, you know. I don't think companion planting is going to work. I've read about it. I don't think there is anything that basically is going to stop them. Of course, as...
Chickens? Get the grubs up?
Yeah. But getting chickens into that part, you know, I don't know. They're so destructive, aren't they? Chickens can be as well. Yeah. That's the trouble. I might see if I can borrow somebody's for a couple of days or something. But yeah, there is that. I think I think the only thing that there is they are en masse. You know, I'm in an open field where, you know, the lady just at the bottom of the field said, oh, they've covered my strawberries down at the bottom. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, this is not a small problem. This is, yeah. So I don't know. I think out there, it's just worth saying to people that there are so many hurdles that one has to overcome. And if you are a bride out there listening to this, or you're having an event and you're booking somebody like me, please, the value of these flowers by the time they get to you is, you can't even, like, I'm getting to the point, you can't even put a price on it. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's certainly not 80p a stem. Do you know what I mean? Because blood, sweat and tears go into it, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah. Oh, we should say something cheerful. My roses have been great this year.
The roses, look at the condition of the foliage. It's just beautiful. I even had Rachel from Green and Gorgeous complimenting me on she messaged me saying they're in such good condition. I know that was a bit of a hero moment when Rachel messaged saying how nice something. I was just like, thank you, Rachel, I needed that. Yeah, they are. Roses, I think, have had a really good year. I think they really have.
They have. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dahlias.
Yeah.
I reckon the dahlias.
My Nigella's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Nigella's good. And things like even the straw flowers and stuff like that, they're growing. They're doing quite well. Mine are already about to flower of those. So it is swings and roundabouts, isn't it? It's, just trying to find the small wins, isn't it? And if you like, Grace, I'll save some of the seed for you. Yeah. My sweet pea seed. I'll just save it for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You did give me all those seeds. You did give me all those. Sharing is caring.
I did. Oh, do you know, I know, but do you know what?
Not allowed to, am I?
I can't because it's not organic. No.
You have got yourself into a right pickle.
Oh, do you know what? I'm going to write a whole blog post, maybe this afternoon, maybe when I've got over this, but about why I'm doing something so unbelievably stupid as going organic and going through all the rigmarole.
Certified.
And I'm doing it because I believe in it, and I'm doing it because I think it is capital A, capital G, capital T, a good thing. Mm-hmm. But currently I'm feeling a bit battered by just what nature is throwing at me and feeling like I'm on your side. Why are you not helping me out a bit more?
I think this is exactly it. Is that I think it is tough. It's not easy. But honestly, if anyone can do it, I know you're flipping dedicated. You'll find a way to make it work. You are very good at that. Is that the pep talk you needed?
Character tells. As Anita Brooks.
Put your big girl pants on.
Yeah,
Come on.
Thank you.
Come on, girl.
No, you're right. I'm very lucky. And also, you know, I'll just write another book, I think, if it all goes terribly, terribly wrong.
Yeah, well, just make sure you get your name on the spine this time, for goodness sake.
Oh, my God. Can you see them in the background?
I can't see them in the
background. It's so funny. If you have a
Bookcase,
copy of my book... and you,
Yeah. She's the only person.
I've got a bookcase with my seeds and postcards and packing stuff. The only person in the world whose name is not on the spine of her own book. Literally the only person in the world. So if you have a copy of my book, Grow and Gather, go and have a look at it.
It just makes you laugh.
My name's not on it.
I love it. Who worries about that sort of stuff anyway? Don't worry about it. So next week, will I have been out by then? I will have been out a little bit, but my big week next week is the big birthday week, so next week's quite busy, which is quite lovely.
Okay.
But there will be lots of nice things to talk about. And I think we're going to do another 10 episodes, aren't we? This is our first one, which is our summer...
Series 2, episode 1.
Yeah, I know. Which is our summer season. And then we will be having a break and then going into autumn. If Grace, obviously, if I can get her to keep going, Grace, we will...
Right.
We will be going into the autumn season. So, yeah, if there is anything anybody's, like, massively interested in or wants us to talk about. But we are following that same formula, aren't we? In, out and about. So people...
And any recommendations for fun things to do out, do also shout.
Oh, yes, please do.
It's always nice to hear people.
Especially in the Cornwall area, particularly about 3 miles from my house because, you know, Becca only goes so far.
I have recently had lots of recommendations for vegan restaurants near Waterloo, but that's no use to you at all, is it? Because I'm going up to town.
Far too far.
Yeah. Having a little girls' reunion on 14th of July, going up to Waterloo, just to see the people I trained with as a psychologist. I've been incredibly rude about other psychologists last time we spoke.
Oh, yes, you were a bit, actually.
I know.
Yeah, I thought that was very bold.
But I don't think they listen, so I think we're all right.
Okay, that's fine. I did think that was quite funny, actually. But then I just thought, Grace is in charge of editing and she's kept it in, so it's fine.
No psychologists have got in touch.
No, exactly. You're not on hate mail. I'm going to... So I've got some biannual seeds, which I've sown some of them, but I've ordered some more, and I'm going to go out and just try and sow them. And actually, trying to keep biannual seeds alive is another challenge for another conversation on another day. I am going to go out and just sow some of those just before the end of the school run.
Biodynamic Flower Day, so crack on.
Oh, is it today? I need you to tell me.
Today's the day to do it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I actually do have to go and do it. I'm actually not even joking. Okay, I've got to go and sort it out. Lovely to catch you. It's so nice to be back.
I know. Happy podcasting us. And it's so lovely to be just sharing stuff with our group of listeners who are so lovely.
Yeah, thank you for listening, and do leave us a review if you can. Take care.